Great news, everyone! So Bethesda just confirmed that Starfield is going to be getting a 60 frames per second performance mode on Xbox Series X console. Let's look into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like the impossible happened. Yes, you heard that right. Starfield is getting 60 frames per second performance mode on Xbox Series X console. So Bethesda for months was telling us that that's not going to happen, that 30 frames per second is the way to play this game on consoles, that it's cinematic, that it was their design decision from the get-go, yari, you know that talk. And now, a few months later, they confirmed that, yeah, 60 frames per second mode is coming, 40 frames per second mode is coming. So looks like all that talk was actually for nothing. And I just think that they were just kind of trying to say that, well, they didn't really want to say that, hey, maybe it will come in the update. And I think that that would be the way to go about it. If they needed more time to optimize for Xbox, you know, they should have just said it, right? I mean, I guess, you know, Redfall maybe is not the best example when it comes to the game quality. I mean, Redfall is actually better now, believe it or not. But at least with Redfall, when they said that it's coming out and it will be 30 on Xbox, they did say that the performance mode will be coming in an update a few months later, right? So we all knew what was it all about. It was all about some extra time needed for extra optimization, right? But hey, Todd Howard, you know, he is what he is. He does what he does, and he loves to talk all kinds of things, and yeah, other things happen sometimes. But hey, he's a great game creator, so that's great. But anyway, let's focus on what's coming. So this is from Bethesda's official video where they were showing us around. And as you can see, there's two modes, visual mode and performance mode. And visuals mode prioritizes visuals by keeping the highest resolution while maintaining full detail for special effects, lighting and crowds. Not suggested for frame rate target of 60 or above. This is interesting, and I'll actually talk about it in a minute, because there's an interesting way they tackle they will tackle the performance and frame rate and quality mode in that game. Performance mode prioritizes performance by lowering internal resolution and detail for special effects, lighting and crowds. Should be used when selecting frame rate target of 60 frames per second or above. So, and if you look at the options, you've got two options. You can switch between performance and visual mode, so that's prioritized kind of option. And then you've got frame rate target. So in theory, if you really want to, you can actually select visual mode and target 60 frames per second, right? I mean, you will not get a stable 60 frames per second for sure, because it may be too demanding when it comes to the resolution and visual fidelity, right? But at least you can try. And I think this is actually a cool way, a cool option to have for future hardware. So imagine next gen Xbox, like in launching in 2026. If you will be playing that game without any even extra updates, you will be able to turn on both visual mode and 60 frames per second. So you will get 60 frames per second at best quality straight away on a next gen, on more powerful Xbox, right? So that's kind of cool feature to have. They also spoke about 40 frames per second option, I think that if you've got a 120 hertz monitor or TV, there will be option for that too. So there's a couple of options there, and it's actually cool to have that option now. Now I did beat Starfield already, but I haven't really completed it, if you know what I mean. So I did finish the main quest, the main story, but there's so much stuff to do still in this game that I'll probably be playing this game for next couple of months, maybe, who knows, maybe even years with extra content. So it's good, even though I beat that game, even though many people beat that game, it's good to see that option on Xbox, especially with that story DLC coming out this year. So listen, at the end of the day, you know, looks like Xbox is actually not that weak as some people were suggesting, and it's an interesting pattern. There's an interesting pattern there I actually noticed, is that, you know, some of these Xbox games, and it's not always about performance or quality modes, but that too. If you look at Redfall, now if you look at Starfield, both launched with only 30 frames per second mode. Both received 60 frames per second updates later. Both are kind of still waiting, or did receive, when it comes to Redfall, a ton of extra content. So that tells me that a lot of Xbox games in the past, hopefully not in the future, really needed some extra time to cook. And it was difficult to delay Starfield again, because it was delayed back then already, like once or twice. So maybe they didn't really want to delay it again, not for the 60 frames per second mode. So I get it, but like I said, they should have just come out and say, hey, and said, listen, you know, we are getting ready for that game for that particular launch date. We will be able to offer you 30 frames per second at launch, but in coming months, we will be working on performance mode, and if we can hit some, you know, certain targets, we will update the game, and you will be able to enjoy that game, hopefully at a better, higher frame rate. At least they would be honest, right? And now you've got people, including myself, you know, basically talking about these developers kind of misleading us a little bit here. Because they all talk about, like, you know, their, you know, design choices and whatever, right? I mean, if 30 frames per second is the way to play games, like, why these games run at 60 on PC, right? I mean, if developers had that design choice in mind of a game at 30 frames per second because it plays better, I mean, why not lock a game to 30 frames per second on PC? I mean, of course they won't do it, because PC gamers would eat them alive, literally. Well, maybe not literally, but they would, right? So that would not fly on PC. But when it comes to these consoles, right? I mean, I get it. At least say that you will try, right? But anyway, enough of that negative nonsense. I just don't like the way some of these developers kind of PR their games and market their game. But other than that, listen, at least I appreciate that they actually fixing the game, they are fixing bugs, they are improving the game, they are adding new stuff. So, I mean, Starfield will be one of these games that we'll be playing for years, probably just like Skyrim, especially once the community-driven content will be added to that game. It will be crazy. So anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.